know this is just underwear football, but what are you looking to get out of this from these rookies?
Just who can obtain the information we give them. Every day is a new install. Who can apply it, who can put it out on the field, who can make mistakes and learn from them. And really the physical part will take care of itself. We want to see what kind of shape they're in. We know they're not in tip-top shape, but really it's the mental part of it, getting them to run around and start understanding the scheme.
You've had Logan Hall in the building before in that top 30 business, but had out here like he was today in cleats and a helmet. What was your first impression of him just as a football player out here?
Well, when you walk up to him, he's a big man, first of all. I don't really look up to anybody, him being 6'6" and me being about 6'2", and I really have to snap my neck to look up at him. But he's a very humble guy, but on the field he works hard. He works very hard, as that showed today. Obviously a shorts and T-shirt, but we like the hard work in him. He puts in the work, he puts in the time, and I like that about him.
Todd White was saying that he wanted to take his helmet home. He was so excited about being a Buccaneer now.
That's a great thing. I think that's a great thing for a young man to do. Once that settles down and he gets to business, I think he'll be fine.
There's too much made about a guy like Hall who doesn't have maybe the prototypical three-technique body type, right? Like he's a longer guy. Is too much made about that? He seems to play bigger than his size.
No, it's very rare you can get a 6'6" D lineman these days. They all move to the offensive line. So you can get a prototype, Calais Campbell type, Will Golston type, a guy that can bat down balls and still athletic enough to do all the things you need him to do. You want the length.
How do you get the full spectrum of draft picks to undrafted signees to tryout guys? Is there anybody, even in the context of a single practice, that popped out today?
Not just yet. It was more mental. A lot of adrenaline flowing today, a lot of mistakes. We'll try to clean them up tomorrow. And I think we'll see as we go back and watch the film. I may think differently, but right now I didn't see it.
Coach Christensen had said earlier this week that was Tuesday, that he saw Blaine Gabbert being more the backup quarterback and Kyle Trask, not quite being ready to challenge for that backup role. What are your thoughts on that? Do you think he still has an opportunity to compete for that second role? Is his job kind of solidified there, or is there still kind of some room to move around?
There's competition everywhere, so there'll be competition at that spot as well. Blaine finished the season at number 2. We like Blaine. Trask is going to get his chance to play and compete, and if he's better, he'll be number 2. If he's not, he won't be, but he will have a chance to compete, and he knows that, and everybody knows that.
What are your thoughts on the schedule that came out last night?
Well, we knew we were playing from the start, and there's no easy way around it. When you come in first place, you play a first-place schedule, so we'll get ready for it.
Those first 4 games, that's a brutal stretch right from the get-go.
Well, the only good thing is you only got to play one at a time, so we'll deal with them when they come.
So is it hard to get perspective on seeing these rookies and just the level of football that they're at when you've had a Super Bowl team, basically a caliber team the last 2 years to work with?
You're always looking for depth, and you're always looking for new players. So, every year is a competition thing. Unless you're great like certain players we have, you're looking for competition. They have that inner drive. Everybody else needs to be pushed, and we're looking for that with the new players we have.
What will be a successful year out of this group, in terms of contribution?
Playing time, anything they can do to help us win ball games. Be a starter, backup role, make a play here and there. Contribute by pushing everybody else to make better. So we drafted these guys, and hopefully that most of them can help us play this year and help us win this year, and I think they'll do that.
There's been a lot of talk about the quarterbacks that you have to face this year, but as a defensive-minded coach, as a defensive coordinator, a play caller, do you love that challenge of going up against the best of the best and these upper echelon quarterbacks you're going to face?
That's the only way you can get to the Super Bowl and win it. If you don't beat the best of the best, you're not going anywhere. So some years it's running quarterback, some years it's throwing quarterback, some years it's running game, some years it's passing game. But, this year we got all the great ones, so we'll get ready for it, and we'll be ready to play.
It's hard to take the running backs off the field like Fournette. How do you see White integrating into that mix for his work?
Well, he has a good talent. That's why we drafted him. We know Leonard's our starter, obviously. We look for White to compete with Vaughn and Gio, and we'll see from there. He has good feet coming out of college. He has good size. He has good feet and good speed. We'll see in preseason where he fits at. But he's capable of spelling Leonard, He's capable of catching the ball. He's capable of doing a lot of things.
It's a new team this year, right? Last year was last year. You get a chance to kind of mold this team the way you want to do it. But are there things from last year that you look at on tape that you say, you know what, we need to get better in that area, or I want us to do this maybe a little differently? Like, how are you going to be able to kind of make your own mark on this team?
There's plenty of things to get better at. First of all, the teams that beat us, we have to look at ourselves to see what they have on us that we can do differently. Second of all, there's a lot of stunts on both sides of the balls, whether it's blitz pickup or whether it's D-line play and setting each other up, that we can get better at. We can get better with our vision on defense. We can get better at route running on offense. We can get better at a whole bunch of things. Anytime you don't win the Super Bowl, you can get better at a whole bunch of things. 13-4 was good. It just wasn't good enough. So the key is to try to tweak the things you need to get better at without messing up the things that you are better at, already good at.
Byron has told us that it wasn't important that Tom's here for OTAs, but he showed up on Wednesday. How nice is it to have him here? And is it something you wanted him, or did he just do this on his own?
Tom's a worker. Tom comes in on his own. He doesn't need to be here, but you don't play that long without having inner drive. We have a great communication and we have great relationships. So he comes in on his own and works. He doesn't need the work everyone else needs, but camaraderie when he comes in here is very good.
You brought in 3 undrafted wide receivers, most of them were smaller guys. Did any of them pop to Joe Stearns and caught a lot of balls? Did he pop it all up to you today? Or?
Not just yet. We're going to try to take a look at some of them as punt returners and see where we go from there. But, we got 2 more days to see them.
K-Dot didn't participate. Do you expect his return anytime soon? OTAs when you put him in camp, or is it more like a training camp type deal then?
We're going to take it day by day. I'm not a trainer. We'll see where he's at next week.
You mentioned Tom. What is your relationship like now that you've had a chance to kind of get to know him wearing a new hat?
I think it's pretty much the same. We kind of see the game the same way. Obviously, everybody thinks that I'm changing the offense. I didn't get a head job to be an offensive coach. That's not my job. I've always been a defensive coach. That doesn't mean I can't be a head coach. So me and Tom understand that. We have a great relationship going forward. We communicate constantly, and just look forward to working with him from a different angle. But we always talk football off the field when he was here, regardless.
The regular season doesn't start until September, but in the off season, this is the time you can go back and maybe even take an advanced look at some of your opponents. The Saints and the Rams are 2 teams that have had your number lately. What type of emphasis do you put on those teams, knowing that they're on the schedule again this year, and how to see the Saints twice during the division?
Well, we knew they were on the schedule, but right now we're focusing on ourselves and our draft picks right now. Again, we have things to clean up from those games as well as other games, even games we've won. And there'll be time to deal with that when it comes, and we'll do our homework that way to see what they have on us to try to beat them.
Do you have any clarity on Gronk yet? Has he told you his intentions this year?
No, it's still status quo.
Do you have any idea when he might make a decision in that area, or when he might let you guys know?
I do not at this time.
When you and Tom have these conversations, is it a lot of it's like strategy, like you kind of telling him your perspective on things from a defensive standpoint, him telling you his perspective from an offensive standpoint? If you could kind of give us an idea of what those are like.
There's a lot of things that he thinks about and a lot of things that I think about, just trying to mesh it all together so we get to know each other better that way. It's easier in game to come up with decisions of things we want to do.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.